So I thought about, what are we going to talk about today? And it really came down to the power of being unique. And you say, Lee, why did you choose that? Because everyone today wants to pigeonhole everybody into a box. Are you Christian? Are you Muslim? Are you Jewish? Are you white? Are you black? Are you brown? Are you red? Are you yellow? Are you gay? Are you straight? Are you transgender? Are you Democrat, Republican, independent? Everyone's got a box. When we were born to live without a box. We were born to be unique. We were born with a DNA that no one on the planet has ever had before. We have a physical DNA, we have a mental DNA. And so our father had a DNA, our mother had a DNA, and when they combined and created us, they created a DNA that's never been created before. Do you see, there's a biology, a psychology, there's a genetic involved in this. So the person sitting there as you has never existed in any way, shape, or form, and there's no two of you anywhere. So what do we got to do? We got to give up trying to be anyone else. There's only one question in life for us to answer. Remember in City Slickers? What's that one thing? You know, that's the one thing. Here it is. Who do I want to be? That's an easy question, but that's difficult. Because you've got to put aside everything mom, dad, family, school, television, magazines, church, politics, business have taught you and brought you into a mold because you were so young you never consciously chose. Think about that. From 0 to 7, you're in the theta state in your mind. Theta state just blindly is hypnotized. It hypnotically takes everything in without discernment. So if you were born to parents that were Catholic, like me, you were raised as a Catholic. I don't know why I was born in the United States. Mom lived and was born and raised in Italy. Dad's parents were born and raised in Poland. Dad's parents moved here. Mom came here when she was 12. But let me say something. I don't know why, but I'm blessed to be born in this country. Because regardless of what you think is happening in the United States, we have more freedom than any place else in the world. And if you listen to everything happening out there, it's just people's perceptions of freedom that they want to have. But here's the thing. Freedom doesn't come from the outside. Freedom comes from in here. It's the ability to look at life and say, whatever's happening, good or bad, this too shall pass. No matter what it is, this too shall pass. So August 1st, I fall down. Go boom. Hit my hip. Stars. Go to the chiropractor, say, hey, adjust me, I'm out of alignment. I get adjusted. Week and a half later, I'm saying, things aren't good. Go to another chiropractor who's also a nurse practitioner, says, let's do an x-ray. Shattered my hip. I said, oh, what do I do? Just have a screw put in? He says, no, we're going to have to get a whole new hip, so here's a surgeon. I could fight that. I could be miserable. I accepted it. This is what I have to do. So I had the surgery on August 24th. In about 2 weeks, I was going to be released that I could be good enough to do the Himalayas. However, you never know what the universe is going to bring you. I'm walking along, and I'm saying, damn, I'm in pain every time I walk. Why do my shins hurt? Why does this hurt? Why does that hurt? So I go back to the chiropractor who's also a nurse practitioner. He says, I said, doc, leg's short. He said, let me look. I said, yeah, it is. We'll fix it after you get released. We'll adjust you. You listen to the small voice and it says, That ain't happening. So I went back and made an appointment with the surgeon 2 days later, went in and said, hey, doc, I think you put the wrong leg on. They don't match. He says, well, let me take an x-ray. Takes an x-ray, comes back, looks at the leg. He says, well, yep. The thing we put into your bone, they put something into your bone that goes in, that extends out. Then they put a ball on there that fits into the socket that they put in. Well, I'm 3/4 of an inch shorter. So he says, well, we'll give you lifts. We'll give you lifts. Now, I could choose to be unique and have one leg shorter than the other. I could choose unique and listen to the doctor and have lifts put in my shoes. I said, screw that. I said, I cannot settle. So I looked at the doctor in the eye and I said, you're about 45 years old. He said, yep. I said, if you were going to live another 60 years, what would you do? And he said, well, I would have the surgery that would lengthen the leg. I said, what would that involve? He says, well, that would be taking the ball that fits in, popping it out, putting a different ball in that's longer to the right length, and then the leg will be equal. I said, so when can we do it? He says, don't you want to think about it? And I said to the doctor, what's there to think about? Settling or embracing your greatness? Now, a lot of people have come up to me and says, are you suing the doctor? I said, no. This thing happens. And then I got into my head and I started to feel for myself. You know the woe me's that come in? Wait a second, I just did 3 months of recovery. Now I'm going to do another 3 months of recovery. And then that came to me again, what I just said earlier. This too shall pass. What is the lesson here? One leg shorter than the other. Isn't the lesson all about balance? Isn't the lesson today about what is happening in the world, about seeing the balance that's there? Remember, if there is darkness out in the world, in order for light to light up the darkness has to be revealed. There's darkness all over the United States, all over the world, and it's not on one side or the other, it's on all sides. And until it gets exposed and we put the light on it, we can't heal as a people to live as one country in peace and then spread that to the world. That's the spiritual way of looking at this. Each of us is unique and unrepeatable. Do you get that? You cannot clone you. You are perfect as you are. There's not another you out there. So in the puzzle of life, you're perfect. I love this. Our gift is to be free to give our uniqueness. Your gift to the world is who you are. Your unique self. Here's the question. Do you know who that is? Have you taken the time to figure out what is my uniqueness? What is my gift? What is my way of being in the world? That's the biggest work we do in our lives. And remember, when you figure out that uniqueness, your heart lights up. You feel joy like you've never felt before. It is magnificent. You know it. You know it at the core of your being. It's to discover our gifts, expand them, and share them with others. Do you know how many books I read over the last 8 months? Innumerable. Do you know how many videos I've watched? Do you know how many different spiritual practices I engaged in? I've tried so many new things just to experiment with life so that I could change who I was, what I teach to help people go even deeper. Because my gift is to teach. That's my biggest gift. I really understand that other than experiencing oneness, my second gift is to teach. And what do I teach? How you can take your power back and create your life. And I can't do it for you, nor can anyone else. Only you can. From birth, we are programmed to be as others want us to be, and it is from here that we experience an unfulfilled life. So if you're experiencing unfulfillment in your life right now, it's because you're not living who you are. you're living what someone else wants you to be. Does that make sense? Think about that. Start looking at your life and say, am I being the woman, the man that I want to be, or am I doing what mommy, daddy, whatever it is, taught me to be? I did that for years and years and years. And I was a rebel, and I still did it. Depression, anxiety are the result of trying to live up to unrealistic expectations we set for ourselves or live up to others' expectations of ourselves. This is proving more and more and more that all depression, all anxiety is because we have an unrealistic expectation about ourselves or an expectation others have given us or an expectation of life. Here's the key. If you're in a marriage, I'm in a marriage. I think I'm in a marriage. Am I in a marriage, honey? She said yes, so I guess I am. If I'm in a marriage and I'm worried about pleasing my wife all the time, I'm going to be absolutely miserable. But I'm in a marriage where my wife accepts me as I am. I accept her as she is. And what does that give us? Freedom. What is the number one thing we all want in our lives? Freedom. To what? To be our unique selves. So it takes great courage. Huge courage and strength, persistence to live our unique and perfect values. Because why? Everyone is trying to change us. You cannot turn on the television with them not trying to get you to buy something, to get you a perspective. You cannot go to the internet without getting them to buy something or to give you their perspective. In other words, you've got to be really strong and you must be persistent in knowing who you are and keeping your focus on only that which you know is your gift. Until you get strong enough that you can watch the television, observe, oh, look at them. They're peddling more drugs. They're peddling more and more. You ever notice that, how many drug commercials there are? And who comes up with these names? It's really fascinating. I've got some names, but I want to keep this PG plus rated. Your greatest drug is your mind. Your mind is a pharmacy that if you're unique and you have an experience and you think about it, your mind can produce the exact amount of dopamine, whatever it is, it can produce it and heal you. This is what I've uncovered. But we don't think about that. What do we seek? Something outside of ourselves. Now, in my case, I can't perform surgery on myself yet. I've not developed the power to say, move that bone out, move this in. I can't do that yet. I'm not that advanced. So here's the thing. When I'm with this doctor on the 16th, I've already planned this. I said, Doc, I want you to know that while you're doing the surgery, the part of me that is not my body and mind, it's going to be right above you. And it's going to be watching everything you do. And it's going to guide you to make the perfect choice. You notice I'm not threatening the doctor. I'm simply saying the divine in me is going to guide you to do this one friggin' right. We're not here to take away or change anyone from being their whole and perfect unique self. You see, we've been brought up, you got to change people. Make them fit in. Give it up. That's why there's so many divorces. That's why there's so much misery. That's why there's so many broken families. You can't change anyone. Give it up. Have your beliefs. Let them have theirs. When I get together with my son in Denver, there are beliefs that we have that are very polar opposite. I just shut my mouth because I'd rather be happy than right. Because let me ask you this question. What wants to be right? Is it the soul? The soul doesn't care. The God presence doesn't care. The ego wants to be fed. And we don't even realize that we're so controlled by the ego that we're constantly trying to feed it. Here's what I love. This came to me in meditation the other day. Love gives freely. Do you get that? It has no expectation. It just gives. It gives of the authentic nature, the unique nature that we are. Then love receives uniquely. We receive what is given to us uniquely as we are. And then love expresses uniquely. Here's the key thing. Love can only express uniquely if you live your authentic and perfect life. It's your choice. You can choose to continue as you are or step on the escalator that takes you to the stairway to heaven. Let's pray.